All-Star Weekend is underway. The first half of the season is officially done. I know a lot of people are looking forward to watching the All-Star game in San Francisco. There's been a new format that's been introduced just recently. It's no longer going to be East versus West anymore. It's not going to be two teams competing against each other. Now it's going to be composed of 4 teams, where 3 of them have been personally chosen by Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley, and Shaquille O'Neal. And the 4th team is going to be the winner of this year's Rising Stars Challenge. This is going to be very intriguing for me, as it's going to give the rookies and sophomores a chance to compete against some of the very best the NBA has chosen for this All-Star Weekend. It's going to be a lot more competitive compared to years past, because when you consider that, a lot of people have been complaining about the state of the All-Star Weekend, where some of the recent games have not been quote-unquote competitive for them, or at least not competitive to what they wanted to be. This new format should hopefully fix some of these competitive issues that the people have had since the past few years, or at least compared to the one in 2020, where the All-Star game had a maximum amount of points that a team could score at the 4th quarter for them to win. Because the first time it's been introduced, it has been a close game, but since then it's been non-competitive ever since. So now that the 4-team format has been implemented for the All-Star game, fun fact, it was actually introduced as early as the Rising Stars Challenge, where it's going to be a best of 3 games. The winning team has to reach a certain amount of points. For the semifinals, they have to reach 40 points for them to advance to the final round. And in the final round, they're going to need 25 points for them to win the championship game. Now, what's going to happen in the All-Star game is that while the first 2 rounds is going to have teams score 40 points as well, similar to how the Rising Stars Challenge format is, the championship game for the All-Star game is now 40 points as well, instead of the usual 25. Our team had such a great first quarter. While I was talking about the All-Star Weekend, you were watching some of the clips in this first quarter. We ran a double big lineup with Kessler and Mo Bamba. We actually managed to make it work as I isolate Marvin Bagley and I slam it down, getting past him. The reason why we were able to make it work is because of Mo Bamba's 3-point shooting ability. The double big lineups in general take so much time to gel, because big men are normally slow-footed because they have to take some big steps for them to get from one spot to the other, and the other big of the floor has to be able to at least space the floor or run as fast as they can. They also have to be able to handle as much physicality as they can, considering that the big men are the ones crashing the boards a lot. They're trying to stop players from getting inside the paint, anchoring them on defense, and especially when they're trying to guard the post, because the opposing big men would often try to use their body to back down, and that's how they're going to be able to get the easiest basket as possible, either from a layup or a dunk. Alex Sarr, the 7'1" rookie, misses at 3. He's one of the big men that can actually have a 3-point jumper. As I take a spin jumper, I make it, trying to add more to my shot creation bag, which will be more important for me and my team going to the season. I actually can't wait to see how Alex Sarr would show out in the Rising Stars Challenge, along with some of his fellow rookies like Zachary Ricochet, Stephon Castle. And there are so much intriguing rookies in this class, even though it's not the most hyped out of them. I challenged a call on that Walker Kessler block because I felt like it was such a bad call. I don't want him to get hit with another block robbery, because 2K has an agenda against him for some reason. They don't want him to get the defensive stats, all because of those BS calls like that one. Look at the replay. It was clean, so it has to be overturned. And I'm so glad that challenge was successful, because they're making my boy Walker Kessler look bad out here. Because in real life, he actually blocks a lot of shots. He's the Jazz's best rim protector. And after this challenge, it results in a 3-pointer by Jordan Clarkson. That's a 5-point swing there for us. And it has been a close game for most of the second half. The Wizards were giving us a challenge. Like for the worst team in the NBA record-wise, at least in real life, they've been staying very competitive. They didn't want us to have an easy time against them. It's like the Monstars having a hard time playing against the G League. Look at Kyle Kuzma making that 3 to bring them within 4. He's no longer on the Wizards, much to the relief of a lot of Wizards fans. I'm going to mention the trade details later on in this video as to what team he went to. In the clutch, Keontae George, my AI teammate, throws a alley-oop to John Collins, and with 43 seconds left to go, I did something ballsy. I shoot it from near the logo and I make it. That was such a risk, but it was worth it at the end. It's a good thing I had the GOAT skills on. It probably might have helped with that. Hitting Jordan Poole with his own size-up moves, the go-to shot, that's his animation. I hit him with it. It's already over. The Wizards have no chance to come back, but I'm not done just yet. I know we should hold the ball to win, but I wanted to hit Jordan Poole with his own move again. I do exactly that. I shoot it from 3, and I made it. We won this game in comfortable fashion at the end. Next up is the Memphis Grizzlies. They're actually off to a redemption season, going back into the playoff race after a season filled with injuries. Ja Morant even had a season-ending one before he came back and started playing some games again. He's been missing some other games due to some other injuries, but he's been healthier this year, and the Grizzlies have been a lot more competitive because of it. With the shot clock winding down, I made a spin jumper. I'm still trying to get used to taking a lot more spin jumpers, because that's the kind of shot that I don't take very often. And it's going to be a counter move that I want to implement, as playoff defenses are going to be trying to scout me nowadays. Running on a fast break, John Collins in the corner. We were up by as much as 13 early in the first quarter, but just like the Wizards game, we don't get to hold on. I fall for a Jaren Jackson pump fake. He goes all the way to the basket. He's an all-star this year. And if there's any benefit for the kind of season the Grizzlies had last year, it was Jaren Jackson getting a lot of on-ball reps. And he's been the Grizzlies' best player this year, all because of the development minutes that he got trying to be the #1 option. I called for yet another challenge on a Walker Kessler block.
A lot easier to determine. Indeed, and the one thing with
felt like he got contact with the ball first before running into Ja Morant. That should have been overturned, but for some reason it's not, so we get charged with a timeout. Even with the amount of games that Ja has missed these past few seasons, it hasn't felt like he's lost a lot of step. He still makes a lot of fancy layups, even though the results aren't always as pretty as it was compared to back then. It's like he's still the player he is now, even after he had a season-ending surgery. Problem he still has is his inconsistency on the jump shooting. Look at that. Lauri Markkanen gets hit on the forearm, no call. He made the 3 anyway. That should have been a 4-point play. And I have Santi Aldama on me in that third quarter, skipped all the way to that timeline. And I shoot a floater with Jaren Jackson trying to block that. And he's actually one of the few big men that can make the double big lineup work a lot, because of his outside shooting, his overall perimeter play, and he's able to start at the power forward with Zach Edey playing the center, one of the rookies in this year's NBA draft. The Grizzlies made the right choice by drafting Edey because they wanted to add size. They felt like he can potentially replace Steven Adams' production as a big body dude, currently standing around 7'4". He may not be getting a lot of minutes right now, but that's mainly because he's trying to get into things. He's played a lot of games, but he's not the most fast-footed guy in this roster. And the Grizzlies love to play fast. They play almost a 7 seconds or less offense, especially when you notice that they often shoot before the shot clock reaches to 14. And when it reaches 14, they would want to shoot it right away so that they can get some more extra possessions. Also the reason why they lead the league in second chance points. Makes me wonder how Jaren Jackson Jr. will be able to adapt in this All-Star game, as he's going to be paired with some teammates that don't play in a fast system like the Grizzlies do. He's in Team Kenny. Kenny's Rising Stars, and the two other teams are Shaq's OGs, which consists of LeBron and Steph Curry, and Charles Barkley's team consists of the international stars like Nikola Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo, as we're going to play the Bucks. And this clip right there shows why Walker Kessler is one of the best rim protectors in the league. He blocks Giannis on the fast break layup. And look at that cheese. That's the same thing Markkanen had a while ago. Damian Lillard makes a contested 3. I got away with the foul. And that is a lot of cheese that is happening. Like, you're playing great defense and the CPU just makes the shot anyway. It doesn't matter. But in real life, it does happen. You execute the defense perfectly, but it just wouldn't matter at the end. Alley-oop it to John Collins. He dunks it over Gary Trent. I'm going to expect a lot of fancy plays just like that one in the All-Star weekend, from the Rising Stars Challenge to the All-Star game. Maybe even the slam dunk contest. This is a welcome back sequence for Cody Williams. He makes a 3. That's his first game back from a high ankle sprain that he suffered in that Spurs game, which was several months earlier. I just wanted to show love to him as I pass it to him on a fast break dunk. He makes an end one. He's actually had a very tough rookie season, actually. Like, he hasn't gotten a lot of minutes. He's been sent down to the G League. He's the number 10 pick of this year's draft. When he did get the minutes, he really wasn't that confident in his game. He was mostly standing in the corner. He did show some flashes on the defensive end, but there are times where I wish he would be on the opposing star players more. Chris Middleton makes a tough jump shot over John Collins, and Chris Middleton is no longer in the Bucks as well. And now I can mention the trade that involves the Bucks and the first team we played in this video, the Washington Wizards. Chris Middleton was traded to Washington for Kyle Kuzma. And that trade sends Kyle Kuzma to a contender now, where it can feel like he can play a much more serious game. And the Bucks felt like they needed to move on from Middleton because of his injury history. He had a surgery in his ankles prior to this season, and he hasn't really recovered. There are times where he's just plain inconsistent. There are games where he would score 20 plus points, and the next game he would score 0. And the game after he would score 20 points again, and then the next game he would score 0 points. Like he would have a great game every other game, and it was just not cutting it for Milwaukee because they're near the end of Giannis Antetokounmpo's prime, and they cannot afford to make any more mistakes. But the thing with the trade is that I really do not think it's that much of an upgrade, because when we watched the Wizards, Kyle Kuzma wasn't really that high IQ of a player. There are times where he would hijack the offense. That's the thing that Wizards fans were complaining about. But his championship experience that he had with the Lakers is going to help Milwaukee a lot. So basically they traded experience for experience. So overall, they did not lose a lot in this trade, but it really wasn't that much of an upgrade in my honest opinion. Showing this clip to see my AI teammates making the right play on this fast break, that's been the problem that I've been having with the AI in this game. They would often waste an opportunity to get easy 2 points in transition because they take so long to make the read, to make the pass, even when the other teammate was clearly wide open. That's the first time I pulled off this specific animation on the Kyle Lowry hop jumper, the one where I make a behind the back to shoot that 3. There's just specific animations in this game where it's going to be hard to pull off because you have to be in a certain angle for it to be able to trigger. We're up by 2. We're about to reach the 2-minute drill. I pass it to Markkanen. He misses a wide open 3. Giannis is doing the ball handling duties. He tries to take it himself. Middleton wide open for the mid-range. We're tied. We're actually looking forward to redeeming ourselves against this team. We got blown out in our first meeting against them this year. I get past Damian Lillard, faking that step back jumper, going all the way to the basket. That's some of the good things about the hop jumpers, is that you can cancel out of that and you can make a drive attempt instead of just shooting the ball out of it. 1 minute and a half remaining. Tried to call for a pick and pop with Lowry. He doesn't want to shoot it, so I had to call for it again. 7 seconds to go. We're congested. Nobody wanted to shoot it, and I had to pass it to him for a grenade. That was a low quality shot right there. We could have gotten so much better luck out of it. Reaching the final minute of this game, Middleton picks it from 3. Giannis takes the 3. I did a poor job boxing out Gary Trent Jr., and that's the reason why they were able to get this Damian Lillard mid-range. I fall for the pump fake because I know how much of a threat he is from the 3-point area. We're tied 101 to 101. We call for a play for Colin Sexton. That's a good screen. He's wide open for 3. And we're still tied. They put me on Giannis. We're trying to switch it back. I fall for the pump fake again. And Damian Lillard makes me pay. Unbelievable. We're down by 2. 27 seconds left. Had to go all the way to the basket for a John Collins 3 to give us the lead right back. With 23 seconds left to go, they had to go to the inbound. Damian Lillard tries to pass it to Giannis, and it gets stolen by Kessler. Playing the free throw game, I went to the line, gave us a 3-point lead. Have to make sure Lillard's not the one to shoot the 3 because he's that great of a shooter. They're relying on Gary Trent to try and handle the ball. And Bobby Portis is the one that shoots it instead. Right over Kessler. And they put me back on the free throw line again. And I only need to make one free throw just to ice this game because 5.5 seconds is not enough time for them to come back. On a game where we're already up 2 possessions and they have no more timeouts as well. I go take my second free throw and I end up making it. So we're up by 5. Now the game is really over. And Gary Trent Jr. would make a 3 out of it. It doesn't matter. We win the game, redeeming ourselves against the Bucks. It was a great win in the clutch for us. Very important going forward. So with 30 seconds and look, another fail. I'm at 11, 10 seconds to go. I'm still at 2 stars. Oh, another fail. I'm at 12. Come on, 5 seconds. I am so lucky enough to get the 3rd star at the end of that workout. So that was so much different.